Hi guys, it's Emily from Novel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my July wrap up part 1 and it's 4 stars galore. Mainly because I am not having the best, no, it's a good reading month. I suppose 4 stars is like a good reading month, but for me it's not becoming amazing. Like I've only got 3 5 stars, which is a lot less than normal for me. I have got 5 4.5 stars, and I've got 5 4 stars, so it's like 4.5 stars a month. I've only got 1 3 stars, but it feels like it's a really, like, no books are jumping out at me and grabbing me, and it's like, yeah, I'm slightly concerned. I've still got, I'm filming this on the 15th, which is the couple of days before this goes live, so I've still got Take My Hand by Dolene Perkins Valdez to read, as well as The Sunrise Sisterhood, The Summer Trip, and I think I've got like 1 short story for Jane Austen July, and I've got Evelina to read, which I'm going to start today. But yeah, I'm not really having a amazing out of the park reading month this month. So I'll tell you what I'm currently reading, and then I'll go into the books. I've had 1 book that kind of let me down, and then I've got 7 books that I'm adding to the rest of the month's TBR. So I'm 7 books, and I've got 3 left over, so that's like 10 books I can read in like the next 15 days, which will be easy enough, no problems. And I've also got 3 more. I've got 1 book that's just arrived for a tandem read along, which I'll be starting I think Monday or Tuesday, and that's like a contemporary, but it looks really, really good. So hopefully that might be a 5 star, but let's just see. So one I know is going to be a 5 star, but I'm not allowed to count it as like a favourite because it's part of a series, and that's The Pearl Sister by Lucinda Riley. This is one of my currently reading ones. I'm nearly halfway through it, about halfway through it. I'm reading this with a lovely guy from Guy Athena, and it's Cece's story. And Cece was the sister I wasn't sure I'd connect to, and I didn't know whether I'd like her book or not. But at the moment I really do. She's dyslexic, and that's definitely coming up and is an issue, and she's had a really hard time trusting people. She was close to her sister Star, but in the last book her sister Star went off and started doing her own thing. And then the other storyline is Kitty McBride, and that's set in Australia, and that storyline's really, really good, and I just love it. Really, 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 really love it. So that's going to be a 5 stars, I know that. Excuse me. Then I've got The Old Curiosity Shop, which I will be finishing this week. I'm going to finish that once I've read Evelina, because I'm having a massive, massive classics reading slump. So I've decided that I think this video is going to go live before I'm pre-filming loads this month because I got the holiday, and I'm just formally announcing now that the Dickens project is stopped for now. It's paused, it's not stopped. I've still got 1 or 2 Dickens books that I need to finish. So I haven't read, but I'm stopping my project because I'm having a real reading slump with Dickens. The Old Curiosity Shop is alright, but I'm really struggling with my classics, and I think I'm going to do a video on this in August about the classics reading slump, because I want to do like a chatty style video about it. But I'm really having problems with my classics, and Dickens is killing me. And before I've got Victober, I want to really like downplay. After Jane Austen July, I've not got any classics planned for August. I don't know if I'll have any planned. I don't think I'm going to read any in September either. And then I'm just going to go October and November, and then I'm just going to sort of take a pause. But I've got an idea for next year. I'm going to steal an idea from Katie, and I just bought myself some jars. And I'm going to put all of my oldest books that are on my in my physical TBR in that jar, and I'm going to pick one out a month. So rather than having like a classics project next year, I'm going to do a project where I read something, where I pick out once a month. I pick out a book that's been on my TBR for too long, and do something like that. So I'll have my TBR jar like normal, and then that project. And I'm going to try and make some fun ideas, and rather than putting pressure on myself to doing classics, I might not even do the series jar next year. I'm really going to try and be more gentle with myself. But yeah, I'll talk more about that next month. But yeah, this is okay, but it's not wowing me. So yeah, the Dickens project is having a pause. Then a book that I started last night, which is not actually on any of my TBRs. It wasn't even going to be on my TBR jar. I just really needed a middle grade. After all the classics of Jane Austen July, I needed a middle grade. So I've got a middle grade historical fiction. And this is Echo Mountain by Lauren Walk, and it's when Ellie sets out to find a cure for her father, she discovers Kate, an outcast witch, and Larkin, a wild mountain boy. From them she learns about being a healer, being brave, and how much more a person can be than what first meets the eye. So I'm going to be reading this alongside Evelina. Like I said, I'm starting Evelina once I finish this video, recording this video. So I'm going to read a bit of Evelina and a bit of this to try and be a bit more gentle on myself. So I'm going to have like those two books on the go while I read Pearl Sister. So that's my currently reading. Now I'll talk about the books that I'm reading that I've read, and then I'll show you the 7 books that I'm reading. And I can't remember the name. Why can't I remember the name of the book that I've got for my tandem read along? You'll see that on Instagram. You know there's gonna be posts, whatever. Then a book that I got sent for a Love Book Tour was Miracle Number 4 by Paul Mariner. This is on my Instagram stories. I've done a review of this. I couldn't do it on Goodreads because I only rated it 3 stars, and they've said they don't want me to do that. So this is another thing that I think I'm going to take a pause from the Love Book Tour books, because they seem to be very hit and miss, and I don't want to offend independent authors. I thought I was doing this for the right reasons. I thought I was reading these independent books for the right reasons, and then if I don't like them, I'm finding myself feeling absolutely shit, and I don't want to feel like rubbish. So this is set in 1976, which is the year my parents got married, with the dreams of career and rock, a crush on the prettiest girl in town, and a mother in remission from cancer. Mike's future looks bright. This is way more than that. There is a lot of triggers in this for cancer, obviously because we mentioned about the remission, and depression, and a lot of other issues, and those actual bits were kind of more interesting. But the general rock and roll side, I just didn't connect to. I struggled with this book. It was 3 stars. It was good. It was okay. But by far, if I look at all the other books I've read, it's not going to jump out of the park. And because it's not a proof copy, apparently I don't have to, I can give it to Baz Books, and then you never know, we might find someone at Baz Books that might like this. So, bye-bye. Then, it's already my 4 stars. Like I said, it's only won 3 stars. So this isn't a bad month. This is just, for me, 4 stars, as I well discussed on my ratings, is full of good books. Just not amazing books. Although, I will say, some of my 4.5 stars I'm still debating whether they go up to 5. And I'll discuss that in a minute. But anyway, a book that went from 3 stars to 4 stars this month was Northanger Abbey. I read this for Jane Austen July. It's their book. And it's about Catherine Morland. And she is one of the youngest protagonists in Jane Austen's books. And I actually enjoyed her a lot more than this. Again, I didn't really connect with this book a huge amount because, like I said, I'm having the classic slump. But I did like Henry and Eleanor Tilney more in this, and I liked Catherine more. I really, really liked her. Yes, she's a bit dappy. Yes, she's a bit silly, but she's got a pure heart, so I actually quite liked her. So there you go. That one went from 4 stars to 5 stars. So I'm doing a video at the end of the month about my Jane Austen books. Thomas is going to go bye-byes. About like my ranking, rereading Jane Austen books and how that affects it. But yeah, that went from 4 stars to 5 stars. Then a book that I got given as a gift by a friend, and that is Madame Barova by Ruth Hogan. This was actually again a book that I didn't expect to like as much as I did. And my struggles is I don't believe in like tarot cards and palmism. It's not I don't believe in it, it's just not my jam. It really isn't. God, that sounds like a generous phrase, but it's not my jam. But it was a good book. Like, Imelda Barova has spent a lifetime keeping other people's secrets. For her science has come at a price. She's seen lovers and liars, and angels and the devils, and dreamers and the fools. But there is a mystery element to this, because there is a woman that's trying to find her mother and her birth parents. She was adopted when she was young. No, sorry, stop. And she was adopted when she was young, and she's going to Madame Barova to find her birth parents. And we've got the historical fiction story about how this girl was born and what happened to her birth parents. And it was good, and this one would surprise me because Ruth Hogan's been another very hit and miss author. But I liked this book a lot more than I thought I was going to. And I thought it was really good. So if you like sort of Ruth Hogan's books, if you've been hit and miss with her, this is definitely one to go to. And I'm just going to say, Thomas, you're knocking my cable for my phone stand. So yeah, this was actually really, really good. Sorry about this. So that one is really good, but that's going to charity shop note. Then my book that I read for Jane Austen July is Courtiers. It's a non-fiction book about the secret life of the Georgian court. Now, the only thing I will say going forward in this, it's not really about the latter Georgian era. So I know, obviously, if you look like me and a massive Bridgeton fan, then it's about the era before Queen, for the George, the whatever, who married Queen Charlotte. So it's the eras before the George III. So it's more about George I and George II. And it's more about what the court was like in those sort of times. A lot more about King George I and George II. But it was interesting to find out the history. We've got some lovely pictures in this. 4 stars. Lucy Worsley's writing is very, very good. This is a keepy, because I would love to reread that. Then a book that I think, I read this because it looked like a summary book, and it was Return to Mandalay by Rosanna Lee. And again, this was more than I expected, but it's huge. Half of the storyline is set in Burma, where Eva, one of the protagonists, is touring. And then you've got the other storyline of the Second World War, and Eva's grandfather, who is posted and spends some time in Burma. And they've got those two sort of storylines and those two sort of locations. You do have Eva's mother has like chapters, Eva's grandfather, and then you've got people that are in Burma, they have their storylines. And Eva's storyline is quite prominent, and she's a really good character. There's a bit of mystery element to this. It's really, really good. I really enjoyed it, and it's my first Rosanna Lee, and it won't be my last. Then I think this was on my TBR. I can't remember if this was on my TBR or not, but One Last Letter from Greece by Emma Carroll. I was supposed to read Emma Carroll book by Tandem, but their book didn't arrive, so this was the book that I read, and it's off the shelves. Oh my god, this is 4 stars. No, this is where we go into 4.5 stars. Oh, actually, I got this in the wrong order. Oopsie. So I'll talk about that in a minute. This is 4 stars, and this is To Love and To Loathe by Martha Waters. So this is set in the Georgian era, I believe. I thought it was contemporary, but actually historical fiction. And it's a saucy one. Thomas, cover your ears. It's got a lot of sexy stuff in it. A lot of sexy stuff in it. And it's about the widowed Diana, Lady Templeton, and Jeremy, the Marquis of Millington, are infamous for bickering as much for their flirtation. Shortly before a fortnight-long house party at Jeremy's country estate, Diana is shocked when he appears at her home with an unexpected proposition. Really good. Really enjoyed this. It does talk a little bit about the ton, and it's sort of set in that time, but it was a lot of saucy stuff. And if I see any more of this author's works, I'm going to pick them up, because I fancy a bit of saucy romance sometimes. Quite light-hearted, so I'm not going to keep it because I won't reread it, but yeah, it was good. Why is it? Well, the one day I film upstairs and he decides to join in. Right, so now we're on to 4.5 stars books. One of them, I think I'm upgrading to 5 stars, so I'll tell you that in a minute. Thomas, stop it, please. And the first 4.5 star book is the one I'll return to, and that is One Last Letter from Greece by Emma Carroll. And this is devastated by her mother's death. Sophie longs to get away. So she goes to Greece and she goes to Methone. But there is a lot more stuff happening. This book broke me into millions of pieces. I cried my eyes out. It really shattered me into pieces, because obviously in this, Sophie has just lost her mother. She doesn't know her father. And oh my god, if this didn't break me, if this doesn't break anyone else, it will flipping kill you. But oh my god, it is such an amazing book. You find out Sophie's mother's story in Greece. You got the Greek element. I want to go to Greece. That's another country I want to go to. But this is just incredible. This is absolutely incredible. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Brilliant work. Good contemporary, but it's got like I said, a nice other storyline. My charity shop will love this because it's flipping brilliant. Oh, and another lesson. Always listen to him, because he's been helping me pick my books every month. He's been helping me decide which books I read next. Sit down. And the one book I DNF'd this month was a book that he said that he didn't think I would like. And that was Radio Girls by Sarah Stretford or something. I kept saying to Thomas, do I pick this up? Do I pick this up? And he kept saying, no, I don't think you're going to like it. And he was right. I DNF'd it. Shh, Thomas, now go away. Now can you leave? Go by away now. Then a book that I expected to be 5 stars because its predecessor was, and this is Gomersham Park by Jill Hornby. The other Austen Girl, I think is the other book by Jill Hornby, I rated 5 stars. This Gomersham Park is good. It's 4.5 stars, and I'm going to keep it because I'm hoping I get more out of it on a reread. But I actually found this one harder to get into. So even though it's 4.5 stars, I was expecting it to be 5 stars because a lot of my friends liked it more. And this is about set in early evening in 1804. Anne Sharp arrives at Gomersham Park in Kent to become governess to 12-year-old Fanny Austen. But her new role in the large household is an equally an awkward one. And Anne is keenly aware that one wrong move could result in instant dismissal. I do love the Henry Austen bits about this. So Jane Austen's brother. And I absolutely love with all my heart when Jane Austen comes in. But she doesn't come in till quite late in the book. But as soon as she appears, that's when the book went from 4 stars to 4.5 stars. Because I love Jane Austen, and there is oh my god, there is a bit at the end of this book. Turnover for exclusive content by Jill Hornby. So this is about Fanny's diaries, and this is about Jane Austen. You actually have a lot more information about Jane Austen in this. And how she was connected, because she was genuinely connected to Anne Sharp. She was genuinely connected to Anne Sharp. I can't really film this because this is going to take too long, but there you go. But yeah, the author's note in this is amazing. The stuff about Anne Sharp and Jane Austen connected was really, really good. Thoroughly enjoyed this. I thought this was a brilliant book, but it just let me down slightly because it wasn't quite as good as I expected it to be. Then a book that surprised me. I added it to my summer books, and I was it was an Alice Oseman book, and I actually did try a chapter on Solitaire by this author, I think it was Solitaire, and I sent it to the lovely Alice, which I don't mind. Alice, I know will love it, and I've been loving the Heartstopper books. I've had to take a pause on them because I want to watch the TV series before I read the next books, but this is amazing. I don't think this is actually connected to the Heartstopper series, whereas I believe the other one was. But this is about Georgia, and it's about Georgia's never been in love, never kissed anyone, never had a crush. And then at university, she expects to find her love. And she tries all these different things, and she's finding her sexuality stuff really hard. Thomas, will you please go away for this bit, please? And there's new terms that are so easily thrown at her. Asexual, aromantic. And Georgia's more uncertain about her feelings than ever. And is she going to remain loveless? And it talks about love in the different forms and how love doesn't have to be a sexual thing. It can be any other form. I found this thoroughly interesting. It really got me thinking about the labels we put on people and labels we put on ourselves, and the expectations that young people really must be going over, because there are so many terms now. There are so many different genders and so many different terms that are used, and it must put a lot of confusion on the young people. But to me, I think it's important to be ourselves and not to necessarily label ourselves. But it's good to have that support out there. And finding that support that she finds at university is incredible, and I love that. But yeah, I really enjoyed this a lot more. This was 4.5 stars. And I'm actually going to save this because I think I want Mia to read that when she's a bit older. I think that'll be when she gets a bit older, she might find that interesting. Then a contemporary book that I did add to my TBR, I just grabbed it off my shelves. Again, I listened to Thomas. He told me to read it as well. And this is The Story of Us by Danny Atkins. But again, this book will shatter you. It's 4.5 stars. I'm not keeping it because I can't read it again. It will flipping shatter me. And this is about Emma Marshall, who can't wait to marry her childhood sweetheart, Richard. And then a tragic accident changes everything and introduces a stranger, Jack, into her life. And then Emma is torn between Jack and Richard. And we have this future storyline that's kind of runs alongside it, and it makes you think, which one of the men does she choose in the end? What happens? What's her ending? And then everything at the end just ties together perfectly. I think Jack sounds really sexy. Jack sounds really sexy as an American. He sounds gorgeous and amazing in this. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this, and I thought it was a really good contemporary. And then a book that I have rated on my stars as 4.5 stars, but if I'm going to be honest, it's 5 stars because I want to keep this. And that is P.D. James' Death Comes to Pemberley. Jack from Spread Book Joy gave this to me for my birthday. And I'm not really... it has made me want to pick up more P.D. James work because they're not thrillers, they're more like mysteries. and they're like really, really good. And I kind of want to know, has PD James written any more books like this that I will love? Because I would love to know if there's any more books. And this is basically a retelling of Jane Austen July. It's retelling of Pride and Prejudice, like sort of connected to Pride and Prejudice, basically. The year is 1803. Darcy and Elizabeth have been married for 6 years, and the orderly world of Pemberley seems unassailable. But all this is threatened when on the eve of an annual ball, a shay appears, rocking forth a path from Pemberley's wild woodland. As it pulls up, Lydia Wickham, Elizabeth's younger, unreliable sister, stumbles out, screaming that her husband has been murdered. There is an amazing, amazing mystery storyline in this, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the connections to Pride and Prejudice. Shh. Pride and Prejudice is my favourite Austen. You all know that. And this connection to that is brilliant. It's got the mystery. It's got a bit of like gore, not very much. And it's just, oh my God, it's brilliant. I love Lizzie Bennet. I love sort of the fact that Lydia is such a character out of the Bennets. It's just, you know, you hate her, but she's interesting. And I thought this was really good, so I'm keeping that. Now to the official 5 stars, and I've only got 3, and I'm not going to tell you to give me my favourite, because I don't really think I have a favourite. I've put one book down. The one that surprised me a lot was Leanne Moriarty's Apples Never Fall. And this is her I believe her latest book. It hasn't been out, I think it came out last year. And it is so good. It's a mystery, not a thriller. It is absolutely incredible. It is like, basically the lead character, Joy Delaney, vanishes. She's got 4 grown-up children, a business, and suddenly she vanishes. And you're trying to find out what's happened to her. And you've got this lady that lived with them, Savannah. And it is really, really good. I thoroughly loved this. And it's a mystery element, and it's got like, you always want to know. I didn't get to the twist, and at the end there's more twists, and oh my God, I flipping loved this book. I think it's a really good book. I read it with Gemma, who was previously reading book Gem. We really enjoyed reading it together. We didn't guess any of the twists, and Thomas, if you're not this Kobe again, I'm going to kill you. Go out of my room now, or you're not going to get any pocket money. There you go, that's one way. Just get rid. I'm so sorry about that, guys. Children. And I've got 6 weeks of them coming up. Yeah, you're going to sense that there's going to be steam coming out of my ear holes. But yeah, this was a thoroughly good mystery. It was 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to keep it. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but I'm going to keep it. It's really good. I said go, or we've got no tablet and phone. No tablet. Right. Then I've got... So sorry. Emma by Jane Austen, my favourite book of the month. It was incredible. It was a reread, and this went from 4 stars to 5 stars. It's my second favourite Austen, and on a reread I loved it more. But I don't know how much of it I love more, because I've watched the Emma film last year for Jane Austen July and loved that, and I actually got more out of that. And when I was reading it, I was like, oh, I remember that, and I remember this, and rereading it, I got so much more out of it. And it's the first classic I've read in probably all year, if I'm being honest, that I've thoroughly loved. I need to go back and look at that. That's going to be something I'll look up for my classics video, if I've actually got any 5-star classics, because this one was the only one that I thoroughly loved. So obviously I'm keeping that. So those are the keepy books, and I've got one more book that I'm going to keep, and one more book that I haven't told you about, and that's Beyond the One by Tom Felton, and this is Tom's Felton story. And I thoroughly enjoy this book. It's got great pictures. It's about the story. It's not just about the Harry Potter stuff, although it's got really good stuff about that. But it's about how the Harry Potter world connected to him and what it's meant for him since then. And he's not feeling sorry for himself at any point in this book. But he did have to go on a journey, and he did have to grow up, and he'd grown up in the spotlight. He did have some fame before Harry Potter. And he's actually one of the older actors, who wasn't actually the same age as a lot of the lead characters in the film. So this was really interesting. Thoroughly loved this. Yes, it gave me the Harry Potter vibes, but good, because it was just not about J.K. Rowling, which I kind of like, because we all hate her. But, you know, it's not about her or what her stupidity stuff is. It's more about him and the film side of it, and so it was really good. So that's another keepy. So I've got to work out where I'm going to put all these. And now I can show you the 7 books I'm going to add to my TBR. I will not be talking about them too much because this video is too long. Now, I don't know how much that's because of the interruptions. So, first one is I fancied a Twisted Tale book to add to it. This one I've literally only just chosen today. And this is basically a Maleficent story retelling. And it's about the dragon defeated. Experience the second title in the story that puts a twist on the tale. So it's about, after binding her soul to the curse, Maleficent now lives on through Princess Aurora's dreams, controlling the princess and everyone asleep with her. For Aurora to break the curse, she must find a way to control her dreams and defeat the evil fairy within her. For only then can Sleeping Beauty finally wake up and find her happy ever after. This looks really good. To cheer me up, and now I've got 3 historical fictions and 3 contemporaries, and my son is going to... I know that this is the 3rd book in the Bridgeton series, but it's going to be shown 4th on the TV series, and after loving Queen Charlotte last month, I just decided sod it. We haven't been told when the next Bridgeton film is going to be done, so I've decided to read this next, and then read the one after that before the TV series comes out. This will be the first book I've read after not seeing that appropriate series, and this is about Benedict Bridgerton, who I think it sounds so sexy. Sophie Beckett has never dreamt she would sneak into Lady Bridgerton's famed masquerade ball, or that Prince Charming would be waiting for her. Though daughter of an earl, Sophie has been relegated to the role of servant by a disdainful stepmother. But that night, spinning in the strong arms of the debonair and devastatingly handsome Benedict Bridgerton, she feels that she's royalty. But Sophie has not reckoned without Benedict's determined heart. He has sworn to find and wed his mystery miss, but what only he knows is that only chance for fairy tale love. Cannot wait for this. And then I've got Secrets of the Chocolate Girls, which is the 3rd book in the series. I've read the other 2 books, and this one is set in September 1940. While her husband and daughter work at Cadbury's Bournville factory, Anne Gilby has her hands full at home with her youngest child Martin and her other daughter Sheila, newly returned home with her baby Elaine. With Sheila's husband away doing his bit in the RAF, Anne knows that she should be grateful to have her children safe under one roof. But as bombs fall even closer on their Birmingham home, she can't help but fear for their uncertain future. And this looks really good. So I hope that I'm going to enjoy that. And then last on the historical fiction is The Island by Victoria Hislop. And that is a book that I was given by a friend of mine last year. And it's one that I've been intrigued by. I believe this is set in Spaloka, so I think it's like this, again, the Greek thing. Shh. This was not the start of a short trip or to deliver supplies. It was the beginning of a one-way journey to start a new life. Life on the Leper colony, life on Spinoka. 50 years earlier, making life-changing journeys of his own, Alexis Fielding fills the pool of an abandoned island, the distant shadow of the coast of Crete. She knows that it holds the secrets to her mother's past, buried but so long, but surely not forgotten. I'm really excited by that, and I really needed a reason to read this. And then I've got my 3 contemporaries. One was one I got from... This is my first time trying this author, Jo Thomas. I only had this recently, so I'm reading it quite quickly. But it's Escape to the French Farmhouse. It's set in France, and it's Dell and her husband Ollie moved to the beautiful village of Provence for a fresh start after infertility struggles. 6 weeks after they arrive, they're packing the removal van once more as Dell watches the van leave for England. She suddenly realises what will make her life happier. A new life in France without Ollie. And that looks really, really good. I'm really looking forward to that. It's contemporary. And then I decided to change a book that I was going to add to my TBR. I decided to put The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, because I wanted books set in other countries, because I don't travel abroad, but this one's set in Spain. So I've got one set in Spain, I've got one set in Sunoca, I've got the Bridgeton book. So I've got quite a few different choices. And this is Catalina Martin desperately needs a date for her sister's wedding. Shh. Especially when a little white lie about her American boyfriend has spiraled out of control. Now everyone she knows, including her ex-boyfriend and his fiancée, will be there. She has 4 weeks to find someone willing to cross the Atlantic for her and aid her deception. New York City to Spain is no short flight, and her family won't be easy to fool. This is really good fun. Really want this. Then last but not least, I'm adding The Rose Petal Summer by Katie Ford. This looks like a very easy, light contemporary. He was the one that got away, the young man who Caro had spent one magical evening in Greece with. God, that's another Greece setting. Now, years later, they have met once more in a beautiful old house in Scotland. Soon, Caro is falling for him all over again. Could this be the summer he falls in love with her? Second chances, it's romance. It's not too long. It looks really good, and I'm really excited by it. So, which books of those do you think I should prioritise out of my new 7? I'd love to know which books of those do you think are going to be 5 stars, because I need some more 5 stars this month. I really need it. If you like this, I am so sorry for Thomas's interruptions in this video. He's in deep trouble. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel or subject, ring on my ding-a-ling, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.